Your true wealth is your time and freedom. Money is just a tool for trading your time. It's a container to store your economic energy until you're ready to deploy it. But the whole world has been turned away from real money and has been fooled into using currency. A deceitful imposter that is silently stealing your two most valuable assets, your time and your freedom. Welcome to the rabbit hole.
We are entering a period of financial crisis that is the greatest the world has ever known. The wealth transfer that will take place during this decade is the greatest wealth transfer in history. Wealth is never destroyed, it is merely transferred, and that means that on the opposite side of every crisis there is an opportunity. The great news is that all you have to do to turn this crisis into your great opportunity is to educate yourself. I believe that the best investment that you can make in your lifetime is your own education. Education on the history of money, education on finance, education on how the global economy works, education on how all of these guys, the central bankers, the stock market, how they can cheat you, how they can scam you. If you learn what is going on and how the financial world works, you can put yourself on the correct side of this wealth transfer. Winston Churchill once said that the further you look into the past, the further that you can see into the future. This program is all about creating your own crystal ball, being able to gaze into the future, being able to change this crisis, the greatest crisis in the history of mankind, into your great opportunity. Gold and silver have been the predominant currencies for about 5,000 years. But it wasn't until they were minted into coins of equal weights somewhere in Lydia that they became money. How did such a great and powerful civilization fall?
Perhaps they felt that they were
Superior, couldn't make a mistake,
Exactly.
They knew better.
Exactly. And they ended up destroying their society.
It's a road that we're going down today, right?
I think absolutely.
The 7 stages of empire. It's a long-term cycle that echoes throughout history right to this very day, and is basically a societal pendulum that swings from quality money to quantity currency and back again to quality money.
Bright young economics students just don't understand gold.
Turn on the television, watch with the price of gold. Look at the dollar going down, gold's going up, silver's going up. That's exactly the way it's always worked. And why is anyone surprised?
To understand gold, you have to understand monetary history. Once you see where we've come from, you can get a much clearer understanding of how the 7 stages of empire are playing out right now.
The thing that amazes me is how history just keeps on repeating and repeating and repeating, and we never learn from all of our stupid mistakes. Today we are doing the same thing that the Athenians did that caused the loss of their great culture. We're doing the same currency debasement. We're doing the same deficit spending, and it's for the same reasons. It's for war, and it's for great public works.
There is no other side. You're either silver and gold or you're doomed.
Welcome to Egypt. This is where it all began. Roughly 5,000 years ago, the Egyptians started using gold and silver as their predominant form of currency. But it was not yet money. The pieces of gold and silver that they were using were odd sizes and weights, odd purities, so it still was not interchangeable, where each unit is the same as the next. This meant that nothing really had a price yet. You couldn't put a price of so many coins on something because they didn't have coins yet. Trade was still difficult. It was still a guessing game when it came to the exchange of values. One of the reasons that we are in the financial mess that we are today globally is that people do not understand the difference between currency and money. Currency is a medium of exchange, a unit of account. It is portable, durable, divisible, and something called fungible. Fungible means that each unit is the same as the next unit. A dollar in my pocket buys the same amount as a dollar in your pocket. Money is all of those things plus a store of value over a long period of time. Even financial planners, bankers, your accountant, they don't understand the difference between currency and money. The currency in your pocket is a medium of exchange. It's a unit of account because it's got numbers on it. It's somewhat durable, it's portable, it's divisible in that you can make change, and it's fungible. A dollar in my pocket buys the same amount as a dollar in your pocket. But because governments can print more and more and more of it and dilute the currency supply, it's continually transferring wealth out of your pocket, out of your bank account, to the government and to the banking system. The reason that gold and silver are the optimum form of money is because of their properties. It's an easy medium of exchange because gold and silver store a large amount of value in a very small area. It's a unit of account. Pure gold has the same value all over the planet. So an ounce of gold buys the same amount here in Egypt as it would in China or in the United States. It's durable. The same gold that Egyptians were using in trade 5,000 years ago is still here with us today. It does not corrode. It's divisible. You can make change with it. It's very portable. You could use something like oil as money. It's just that you can't carry around a barrel of oil on your back. It's fungible. Pure gold is the same wherever it is on Earth. Pure silver is the same wherever it is on Earth. It's limited in quantity. That's the reason that it maintains its purchasing power. Governments cannot print it. Over the last 5,000 years, only gold and silver have maintained their purchasing power. There have been thousands upon thousands of fiat currencies, currencies that are unbacked by gold or silver, and they have all gone to zero. It's a 100% failure rate.
Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly reporting tonight from South Florida. Thanks for watching us. Are we the people responsible for the chaos that is enveloping America? That is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. The folks are indeed responsible for the government they get. Germans could have thrown Hitler out. They did not. Russians fought hard for Stalin. The Chinese surrendered to Mao. The Cubans allowed Fidel Castro to take away their liberty. The folks are responsible. And now Americans are faced with a citizen challenge, not at the levels of totalitarianism, but a very serious economic situation. Yesterday, the Government Accountability Office, the nonpartisan investigative arm of Congress, released its annual audit of the U.S. government. The report covers the fiscal years 2011 and 12. The conclusion of the report is this, quote, absent policy changes, the federal government continues to face an unsustainable fiscal path. Let me repeat that. Absent policy changes, the federal government continues to face an unsustainable fiscal path. If the feds do not stop the wild spending and do not reform Medicare and Social Security, the U.S. dollar will collapse. That means that all of our savings, all of our investments, our homes, and everything else will blow up before our eyes. Now, chances are you will not hear about the GAO's report today, except on this program. The liberal media will not tell you what is going on. The reason? President Obama does not want to cut federal spending or reform entitlements. That is crystal clear. And the media loves President Obama. So the folks be damned. This is like telling people standing on a beach, hey, a tsunami's coming. And if you don't move, you're going to be killed. But the beach folks say, I like it here. I'm not moving. And then eventually the wave sweeps them away. That's exactly what's happening now. We're living in a country that's polarized. We're also living in a country that is becoming addicted to machines, the internet. We discussed that last night. Many American citizens, perhaps most, are now too lazy to pay attention to their country. They're selfish, caught up in individual pursuits. Thus, the federal government has been allowed by we the people to get out of control. Last year, the Fed spent $1.1 trillion more than the government took in. That is grossly irresponsible. The debt now approaching $17 trillion. President Obama, the biggest spending chief executive in history. So, I have to play Paul Revere here. I have to continue to tell you the truth. But I also believe many Americans simply will not listen. And even worse, they are not smart enough to even care. Disaster could be coming.
Now, silver. Tell me about silver.
Silver is
What's the silver story? Give me the silver story.
Silver is an extremely interesting metal. I mean, it's also, in addition to being a precious metal, may even have a longer history than gold as a precious metal. And one, obviously, because of its price, it's more easily for the typical investor to accumulate and buy silver coins. It's also a remarkable, and I use that word advisedly, a remarkable industrial metal. Its properties are, totally unique. It's the best electrical conductor in the world. Better than copper. It's the best thermal conductor in the world. And because of these unique properties, it finds itself in a lot of things you wouldn't suspect. One of the things you look at is how much you're using relative to how much silver there is in the ground. Right now, that ratio is 10 to 1. That means that
you're using 10 times more silver.
Every year, we've been mining about 1/10 of the reserve base of silver.
Oh my God.
That's scary. That is frightening. That means that we have to increase this resource dramatically, or else we're just going to run out of silver. And so you ask me for prices of silver. If I told you $100 based upon everything that I'm saying right now, I don't think in any way you could call me crazy. I mean, silver, I think, could, barring a collapse in China, which I just don't see, barring another major worldwide catastrophe, I think silver could be an absolute huge, huge winner. There's very little of it, and we need it for everything.
75% of my total net worth is in gold and silver right now, physical. It started at 50-50, and then it kept growing because gold and silver went up, and I couldn't find anything else I wanted to put my money in, so it just grew. I treat those as separate metals, so it's not one word for me, gold and silver. Gold is a monetary asset. I love it because of its monetary role. It performs beautifully in periods of negative real interest rates, of fiscal irresponsibility, which a 10% deficit to GDP is fiscally irresponsible, during monetary madness. Those are all, and financial system instability or the threat of it. Those are all perfect tailwinds for gold. And I also love it because it has that option value of what happens if gold ever gets remonetized. As James Turk showed, there's obviously a lot of upside if gold does get remonetized. So I love gold for its monetary role. Silver, I don't think has as much of a shot of being remonetized, but it's a gorgeous industrial metal. It's used for things that we know of no substitutes. It is the most reflective metal element known. It's the most conductive. It's used in certain applications for which we have no idea how we would replace it. It's got growing uses as an antimicrobial in healthcare applications. It's fantastic. So silver is the thing that I don't have grandkids, but if I do someday, that's kind of what I plan to pass on to them. I'm looking at silver as a 10 or 20-year play. Rip Van Winkle sort of an investment for me, because I'm convinced we will get through a pretty rough patch, reconfiguring ourselves. We will continue to operate industrially. Silver will always have a role. And as well, I can see the depletion story, and I have this other view which says that over the next 10 or 20 years, we will be digging fewer mile-deep holes in the ground to get at 0.2% copper grades, and silver is a byproduct of mining many of those base metals. So I think we're going to be doing less of that. All told, I actually see silver as being a much more valuable metal than gold because of its utility in industrial processes, and it's actually a lot scarcer than people believe. That 16 to 17 to 1 ratio is the ratio of gold to silver in the crust as it naturally occurs. But if you took a snapshot right now and said, freeze, we're not taking any more gold or silver out of the ground, which is rarer, it's a toss-up. There might be about as much gold as silver on the surface of the planet right now on an ounce-for-ounce basis. So silver's reduced value, in part, is predicated on the idea that we're going to constantly, forever, be pulling more out of the crust of the earth, and that might happen. I don't think it's true. And so that's part of my investment philosophy around silver. It's a very scarce, depleting mineral, and something that I think will grow only more scarce, and has got incredible utility, and it's really shiny, and I like how it looks.